making narrative planners fast would also itself be pretty fast. All right, so this is the first of the 2 doctoral consortium presentations. It will be presented by Gage Birchmeier on toward a model of uncertainty in narrative planning. Welcome, Rupi.
Okay, hello. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Gage from the Narrative Intelligence Lab at the University of Kentucky, and I think we've kind of played around this a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit about the work I'm thinking about doing for my dissertation, which is modeling uncertainty in narrative planning. So as a very quick summary, we are working in narrative planning, which where we have a planner that creates a sequence of actions that leads from an initial state to our kind of desired ending. And we want all of the actions to be explained for the characters that take those actions. Okay, yes. So as I said, we're looking at modeling uncertainty, and there's kind of 2 big features that we might like to see in narrative planning. And so the first one is that characters having uncertain beliefs. And so what we have in Sabre right now, which we've talked about, is you kind of have to commit to one belief about something, or it just have like no, like this person doesn't exist. So you might believe that your friend is in room A, or you might just believe that their location is null, in which they don't have a location. Something we might like to see is you might want to be able to say like, okay, I know my friend might be in room A or B, but I don't think they're in C. And so there's kind of like 2 different, if you think about the graphs that we've shown of like epistemic edges, you can kind of think that there's like 2 different states that we're pointing out towards, one where your friend's in room A and one where your friend's in room B. The second thing that we're looking at is actions with non-deterministic effects. And so currently in Sabre, from a character's beliefs or from just like the state in general, we can like completely determine what is going to happen from an action. So like a character deciding to fight another character might know that they're going to win because they're armed. And what we might want to see is something like, even though they have like full knowledge of the state, or like the planner has full knowledge, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. The person who is attacking might win or they might lose. And then it is up to the planner to decide which outcome to pick. Okay, yeah, so there are kind of 2 big a lot of applications for this. So uncertainty in like traditional like planning is very much used to like model the real world where there is actual uncertainty. And so when we're doing these real world simulations that still adapt to user input, uncertainty might be a useful feature to have. And then also another thing that I would like to see is like detective stories, where a character has kind of narrowed down their beliefs in order to solve a crime case. So one of the related works we've seen, I think previously at AIIDE, is OSTARI, which implements dynamic epistemic logic. So that kind of branching off of like multiple beliefs. And this is a model of actual uncertainty, and I will talk about this in a second. But we saw that OSTARI modeling actual uncertainty did not scale well for like very large narrative planning problems. And related to that, when we are modeling uncertainty in like traditional planning, we're usually trying to build a model of something in the real world. We think that accounting for all possible outcomes of every like action that has multiple outcomes can like make the state space explode in size. And so the great thing about narrative planning is that we control the world, or the planner controls the world. And so we don't necessarily have to account for every outcome. And we can decide the outcome, but still give the illusion of something being uncertain. And to kind of demonstrate this, if you kind of think about flipping a coin in the real world, you know that there's a 50-50 chance of heads or tails, assuming it's a fair coin. And you need to be ready for both outcomes. You need to be ready for what's going to happen if it's heads. You need to be ready for what's going to happen if it's tails. And now let's think about in like a narrative, when you're reading a book, you would read about a coin being flipped. You would only see the one outcome. So the text would say like, oh, the coin flipped and it was heads. And so what happened there was the author only chose one outcome to be ready for, but it still gave the illusion that the flip of the coin was had a fair chance of being either outcome. And so this kind of modeling is, we believe, would make it more efficient and help us determine what stories and what outcomes to pick when we have actions that have multiple outcomes. And so there are two big research questions I'm looking to investigate, and the first one is what it means for a character's actions to be explained. So in Saber, characters' actions are explained if they believe it'll lead to a plan that increases their utility, so it's going to achieve their goals. So like they might want to go to work because they believe they might want to get in their car because they believe that might help them get to work. But with uncertainty, they don't know if a plan is going to increase their utility. So for example, a character might want to slay a monster, but they're not sure if that's going to work or not. And however, one of the problems that we've seen is that it does not always make sense for a character to act on their uncertainty. For example, a detective, if they don't know if it's person A or person B, they definitely should not just make one and hope they're right. However, going back to the detective example, they might be motivated to narrow down their beliefs rather than reach a goal. So for example, if they are uncertain if it's person A or B, they might go collect some evidence first, and then figure out from there what they're going to do to arrest the criminals. And then our current solution for characters explaining actions is if it is.
You're way over time.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you wrap it up.
Okay. So very quickly, we think it'll explain their actions if it certainly increases their utility or possibly narrows down their possible worlds. And the other thing is that we want to make the runtime feasible, and we believe that the best way to do this is to shrink the state space by kind of predetermining our outcomes. Yeah, so I don't have time for questions, but feel free to contact me or talk during the coffee breaks if you have anything to chat.